Welcome to Discovering Spain, Wildlife, Culture, and Travel Insights. I'm your host.
And I'm here too.
Today, we're not just scratching the surface, we're taking a proper deep dive into a really specific, fascinating part of Spain.
Yeah, we're using some detailed travel guides, getting to that local insight that, really brings a place alive.
So forget the usual tourist trails for a bit. We are focusing today on the Sierra Norte de Sevilla.
That's right. Our info comes largely from Wildside Holidays. They specialize in walking and wildlife holidays in Spain.
And this area, it's got this great blend, hasn't it? Nature, history, culture. Perfect if you're looking for a less explored bit of Andalusia.
Definitely. So, Sierra Norte de Sevilla.
Well, let's orient ourselves. We're in the province of Sevilla, Andalusia.
Okay. And it's big. I saw the figure 177,484 hectares.
Yeah.
It's huge.
It really is. And it's got official recognition, too. A natural park since 1999.
And more recently, a UNESCO Global Geopark status from 2011.
Exactly. Those aren't just fancy titles, are they? They really signal how important this area is naturally and geologically. And it's nestled between other parks, too, right? It doesn't stand alone?
No, that's a key point. You've got the Sierra de Aracena y Pico Sierroche in Huelva to the east,
Okay.
and the Sierra de Hornachuelos over in Córdoba province to the west. It forms this bigger protected corridor.
Which must be vital for wildlife. You mentioned shared endangered species.
Absolutely vital. Think about things like the Iberian lynx, the black stork, the Spanish imperial eagle.
Mm-hmm.
They need these connected habitats to thrive. Their ranges span across these park boundaries.
Right, so it's one big ecosystem, effectively,
Mm.
and the landscape itself. What would we see if we were there?
Well, the dominant picture is evergreen oak trees, holmum oaks, cork oaks, often spread out in these park-like meadows. They call them dehesas.
Ah, yes, the dehesas. Very characteristic.
And it's generally quite sparsely populated. Lots of rolling hills, these winding country lanes.
Mm.
Oh, and two pretty big man-made lakes as well.
Sounds very tranquil, almost idyllic.
It certainly has that feeling. Focusing in a bit, there's some specific highlights, the Hoosna River, for instance.
What's special about it?
Well, for anglers, it holds common and rainbow trout,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe more significantly near its source, close to San Nicolás del Puerto,
Yeah.
there's a waterfall. And it's actually designated as a National Heritage Site.
Wow, okay. And there was another heritage site mentioned, El Cerro del Hierro.
That's the one. Also a National Heritage Site. It's got this incredible history. Mining there goes way back to Roman times.
Roman. No kidding.
Yeah. And it continued off and on right up until the early 20th century.
So what's it like now?
It's this amazing mix. You've got the scars of open pit mining, some water-filled pits,
Yeah.
but it's all set within this natural karst landscape.
Mm-hmm.
Limestone formations, and it's really rich in minerals, a real blend of industry and nature reclaiming itself.
That sounds visually striking. Now let's talk plants, the flora. You mentioned diversity.
Oh, absolutely. There's this one small, quite unique patch of Pyrenean oak. Apparently, it's the only place you find it in the whole Sevilla province.
Interesting. What else?
Well, in the shadier, damper spots, you'll find gall oaks. And then, of course, the big players for the Mediterranean climate. Cork oaks and holm oaks are everywhere.
Lots of oak, then.
Lots of oak,
Mm.
but also stone pines and even groves of sweet chestnut trees, which adds another dimension.
And underfoot, the shrub layer.
Really rich. Loads of thicket plants. Things like rock rose, rosemary, Spanish lavender, wild cherry, fig trees, laurustinus, the turpentine tree. You can imagine the smells, especially in spring and summer.
Definitely. Real aromatic experience.
And then down by the rivers and streams, it gets even denser, much lusher. You get alder, ash, elm, poplar, lots of different willow species, and the southern nettle tree, proper riverine woodland.
Okay, so a varied plant life. What about the animals, the fauna? We mentioned the big predators, but what else? Larger mammals?
Yep, you got the expected ones for a park this size. Red deer are quite common, and wild boar too.
Right, and the smaller, maybe harder to spot ones?
Well, there's a really interesting group of smaller carnivores, more elusive, genet, fox, badger, mongoose, even wildcat and polecat.
And otters, too, you said. By the rivers, presumably?
Exactly. Otters are present, which is always a great sign of healthy waterways. Their presence tells you a lot about the ecosystem.
It really does. And birds?
Yeah.
This sounds like a good spot for bird watchers.
Fantastic spot. The list of raptors alone is impressive. You've got short-toed eagles, the big Spanish imperial eagle, Bonelli's eagle,
Wow.
griffon vultures, and the rarer black vulture,
Yeah.
red kites circling overhead. And at night, you might hear the eagle owl.
That's quite the lineup. Any other standout birds?
Definitely. Keep an eye out for the majestic black stork. They often nest in remote areas here.
Beautiful birds.
And then the more colorful ones, the azure-winged magpies, they're quite distinctive.
Yeah.
Bee-eaters in the summer, golden orioles with that amazing song, even hawfinches, which can be tricky to see elsewhere.
Good variety. And I think the guide mentioned a lizard.
Ah, yes, the ocellated lizard. It's a big one. Quite impressive if you manage to spot it basking somewhere.
So all this biodiversity, the unique geology, it leads into the Geopark status, doesn't it?
Exactly. The Sierra Norte de Sevilla Global Geopark recognition isn't just about the rocks, though they're key. It's about the interplay of geology, archaeology, mining history, and nature. It's why so many sites of geological interest, or geosites, have been identified.
Let's touch on a few of those. We mentioned El Cerro del Hierro already with its mining history and that paleokarst landscape.
Yeah.
Formed from ancient limestone, you said?
Yeah, formed millions of years ago, then shaped by mining. Then there's Los Covachas Cave over in Almaden de la Plata.
What's special there?
About 300 meters long, goes down maybe 26 meters. But the amazing thing is they found over 1,000 ancient inscriptions inside.
1,000? Wow. Any idea how old?
Various periods, suggesting long-term use or significance. Really makes you think.
Definitely. Other geological highlights.
Well, there's La Cima Abyss in Constantina. Sounds dramatic, doesn't it? And a geological fold, a syncline, where you can find Ordovician to Devonian rocks, packed with marine fossils, little remnants of ancient sea life.
Incredible, like a window into the past.
And speaking of ancient life, there's one site with apparently the highest concentration of lower Cambrian jellyfish impressions found anywhere in the Iberian Peninsula.
Jellyfish fossils.
Seriously.
Seriously. Shows how important the area is for understanding really early life forms. You also get these rugged cragland landscapes formed from igneous rocks.
And something about amphibolites. Sounded technical.
The Beja Opatices amphibolites. Yeah, a bit technical. But basically, geologists think these are bits of an ancient ocean floor. Leftovers from when tectonic plates collided, stitching continents together.
So evidence of ancient oceans and mountain building right there?
Pretty much. And then you have younger rocks, Permian and Triassic ones, that show later periods when basins filled with sediment after the mountains were built. Layer upon layer of history. It's amazing what the rocks can tell you. What about caves with human history?
Cueva Santiago, near Cazala de la Sierra, is a good example. It's a complex cave system, and they found artifacts from the Neolithic and Chalcolithic periods, the New Stone Age and Copper Age.
Yeah.
Shows people were living here very early on.
Right. And we mentioned the Huesnar waterfalls earlier. They have geological significance, too.
Yes, the waterfalls themselves and the travertine deposits, it's a type of limestone formed by mineral springs. They're also considered important geological features. And beautiful, of course.
And even the towns reflect this history, like Guadalcanal.
Exactly. It was a mining settlement. You can still see medieval walls, some lovely Mudéjar churches, even a castle. Its past is tied directly to the geology and the resources found there.
It's good they have interpretation panels and visitor centers to help people understand all this.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes it much more accessible when you visit. You're not just looking at rocks, you're understanding the story.
So beyond the core geology and nature, are there other points of interest worth mentioning?
Definitely. Near Cazalla de la Sierra, there's a beautifully restored Carthusian monastery. What's interesting is that it now houses contemporary art. Quite a contrast.
History meets modern art. Sounds intriguing.
It is. And over in Almaden de la Plata, there's the La Trevesia Necropolis. It's a burial site dating back to the Bronze Age. Another glimpse into ancient human activity.
And dolmens, too. Megalithic tombs.
Yes, numerous dolmens are scattered across the landscape, hinting at even earlier, prehistoric communities living here.
Okay, so if people are planning a trip, where should they head for information once they're there? Visitor centers.
There are two main ones. The Centro de Información del Robledo is near Constantina. It's set in a lovely spot. You can apparently hear the river nearby, smell the herbs in summer.
Yeah.
And it has an adjacent botanical garden focusing on local plants.
Nice. And the other one?
That's Cortijo el Berrocal. It's located within the Las Navas Berrocal Public Forest area. Great views, and it really showcases the typical landscape, the oak woodlands, the riverine forests, that classic Sevillian highland scenery.
So, summing up, the Sierra Norte de Sevilla, it really does seem to offer a lot. Nature, geology, history, quiet beauty.
It really does. It's got layers. Whether you're a serious hiker, a bird watcher, a geology buff, or just someone looking for an authentic slice of Andalusia away from the crowds, it seems like a fantastic option.
Absolutely. And for listeners who've had their interest piqued by this and want to maybe explore this area or other parts of Spain in more detail.
Well, the information we drew on heavily today comes via Wildside Holidays, and specifically the work of Clive Muir.
Ah, yes, Clive Muir. He's behind quite a few useful resources, isn't he?
He certainly is. He runs several really comprehensive English-language tourist information websites. If you're researching places like Cadiz or Ronda or Grazalema,
Yeah.
even the famous Caminito del Rey, his sites are incredibly detailed.
So a great source for practical info and local insights.
Definitely. Packed with information for anyone planning a trip.
Fantastic. So if the Sierra Norte de Sevilla sounds like your kind of place, or if you're planning any trip to Andalusia, really, do look up Clive Muir's work in those websites. It certainly sounds like a rewarding region to discover.
Agreed. Lots to explore there.